Let me start off with this one. How difficult is it to reduce project WIP?
So reducing project WIP is difficult when the projects are for external customers and easier when they are for internal customers. Of course, when you have constraints, internal constraints, and external customers are competing to access this capacity, the tendency is to try to satisfy everybody and to give them a bit of resources here, a bit of resources there, and the teams multitask a lot. And you need to be quite strong to explain to the customers your methodology and why at some point they will have to queue. And one of the tricks is to take advantage of this waiting time to ask the customer to prepare what he has to prepare, because usually he has to give you some inputs. For example, data. If it's special machinery, you need clear requirements, data, you need plans about where the machines will be implemented, will be installed, this kind of stuff. And so you always have the opportunity to prepare full kits before working on an initiative, just to show the customer that you are working for him. If it's an internal constraint and the clients are internal, for example, marketing or operations for new products initiatives or software initiatives, these kind of things, then it's much easier and it's about agreeing on the priorities. But still, you have to enforce full kits. So do not start if you don't have everything you need, not because you want to be a pain in the neck for other departments, but just because you have a limited availability. So if you want to be efficient, don't waste it on unprepared work items. And then it requires some tools, more or less sophisticated. It can be a big Kanban board of the projects. It can be load versus capacity Excel sheets. It can be a project management sophisticated tool with finite resource scheduling capacities, for example. But well, it's not that complicated, but it can be tricky, and it requires collaboration between the customer, the teams, marketing, and the different departments. It's not the matter of just one person, one team.
If I can just add one trick we use, or one comment on this, as Etienne pointed out, it's easier when it's internal than when it's with a client, because with a client you've already sold it, right? So you're committed to doing the project. You can't stop it and freeze it. Okay. The truth is, if you've sold 3 times more projects you can do, right, you have a problem and you better face up to it. So our remark is, at least internally, decide of those X customers which one is the priority and which one is de facto being frozen, so that the madness that you sold to the outside doesn't come inside and turn all of you mad, changing your priorities all the time. Decide what your internal priorities are going to be, and if you sold more work than you can do during the time when you're going to be purging that backlog, you're going to have to be tough and accept that the rules internally don't reflect what necessarily that you sold. Okay, so that's one extra comment. There's a practical question, which is, do we receive a copy of the presentation? Yes. You get a copy of the presentation, either just as you click off out of the screen. Normally you'll be on the screen, which allows you to have a copy immediately. But if that doesn't happen, just go back to the Marris Consulting website, to the conference tab, and look at today's conference, and it's already available, a PDF download of the entire presentation. Okay. Thank you again. Lots and lots of questions, and more coming in as I speak. So I'll just choose one which is several people in one form or another have asked. What tools do you use for Kanban boards?
For Kanban boards, even in software company, I push for pencils and paper, at least for a prototype. because I've noticed that usually on a screen, it's very difficult to have everybody look at the same part of the screen. And so if you have big Kanban boards where you want to identify bottlenecks, so cross disciplines, cross team Kanban boards, it's better to look at the wall than to look at the screen. But if you have big screens, or if you're really great at managing a software, you can look at you can use Jira, you can use Microsoft boards, GitLab Kanban boards, GitHub, Trello. There are many tools, but to start, it's good to draft something on the wall with post-its, and then to go digital.
Thank you. There's another question here, which I'll give a first answer to, and you can add if you wish to. In which cultures will mixing lean, agile, and theory constraints not work or be difficult? And this he's referring to company culture rather than international national cultures. So are there environments that are, for which this is easier or not? My comment is that, forgive us, but we probably don't have a representative sample, because often people who call on us are already open-minded, because we have a reputation for being people who do cocktails and mix stuff in. So people who knock on our door are already open to those ideas. So we find it fairly easy because they're already pre-cabled to do this. I don't know if you want to add stuff.
Yes,
I can just add a lot of it is just to do with vocabulary. I mean, I can say exactly the same things using lean vocabulary as agile vocabulary or as theory of constraints vocabulary. Often it's just experts disagreeing when the fundamentals are the same. We're all looking for flow. You want to add something to that?
Yes, I think it fails in companies where managers don't care about work and the way people work, and there's no respect for technical excellence. Of course, in these kinds of environments, TOC, lean, or agile do not work. And if it's just about wanting the results without improving the processes, it will not work. But I think it is well known, and you have a lot of examples of anti-agile behaviors. So I think it doesn't work if there is no real interest in improving the way work is done in the company.
I'm doing a concatenation of several who are basically asking about critical chain and agile. Can you claiming that there's some agile and critical chain? So my question would be this one: why do you consider critical chain plans to be agile?
Because people complain about waterfall because it's not flexible. It asks for precise estimates. It asks everything to be for commitments. It doesn't acknowledge uncertainty and problems that you meet that you face on the fly. And critical chain does not do that. It doesn't ask for precise estimates. It doesn't ask for strong commitments on many milestones. It's rather about mapping the main dependencies, taking into account uncertainty with buffers, but putting it forward, avoiding some bad behaviors like student syndrome or Parkinson's law, but it's mostly about setting the stage to help people to get the right environment to work better. So to me, it's agile, even if it's Gantt charts with dependencies and stuff, because it's flexible, it acknowledges uncertainty, and takes into account the reality of the teams, and then allows for other practices like Kanban boards, etc.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, we've run out of time, so I'll just ask one last question. Forgive us for the other questions that we haven't managed to squeeze in the answers to. And thank you all for being here and listening in. So I'll finish off with this question: how do you identify the bottlenecks?
So Kanban boards can be of great help, provided they map several teams and several projects. So if you see queues, a great way, like in manufacturing, you chase queues of work, and Kanban boards make work visible. So If you see queues, thanks to the Kanban boards, then you can identify your bottlenecks. Otherwise, you can use critical chain plans. And when you consume buffer always at the same phase or the same moments in projects, if projects are looking alike, you can also use this to find bottlenecks. And finally, you can just go visit the teams, and often you will see that some experts are always busy multitasking, and they're right candidates for bottleneck. And there's maybe something else to take into account. Sometimes bottleneck is not team capacity, but policies. And you realize that just removing a few policy constraints make work much easier for the teams. And that's it.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Etienne. Thank you, everybody, for listening in. And I hope we see you soon in another one of our webinars. So thank you for your time. Bye-bye.
Yes.
Have a nice day.
Thank you all. Goodbye.